Welcome back to Inside Nashville, where our guest today is Robert Deaton. We just finished talking about this idea of a story, the narrative for the awards show, which is a reflection on what's happening for the entire year and trying to tap into what people are feeling. So you do that show, you're working that show airs on November the 1st.
That's right.
A few days from now. But back this summer, every year you do the CMA Music Fest, which is, I mean, how many performances is that now?
It's a 3-hour special, and we shoot 6 artists a night, and then about 23 make the broadcast.
What's kind of interesting, though, is you tape almost as many, you're actually doing almost as many performances over those, 3 days as you are over the 3 hours of a CMA live show.
Right.
So talk a little bit about the difference or the similarities in doing the Music Fest show and the awards show.
Yeah, the awards show is 3 hours live, and that's pretty nerve-wracking.
Anything can happen.
Anything can happen, and we've had things where a set piece wasn't, we didn't know whether we were going to make it or not, and
you
so,
mean in terms of a design?
as far as getting the set out there, and I'm in constant contact with New York, so that if my stage manager goes, we're not going to make this, I need 30 more seconds, then I can call New York and say, put in a promo, so that we can extend so that it is constant.
Right.
I equate that to, being the captain of a ship, and you're trying to get the ship docked on time. That's basically it, because it's live, so you really don't know how long anyone's going to accept, or some people get up there and go, thank you very much, and then walk away. And
so you're picking up time.
Well, and then one year I was over, and over means I was over my time throughout the entire night. So I start pulling copy, and I started making packages, roll-in packages, like nominee packages that we roll in, making them shorter, because I'm prepared. I have a long one, ideal, and a short.
Oh, really?
Yeah, for every package that we do. There's 3, so I can look at it and go with the long.
Okay.
Go with the short. So I'm going short, and then so I get to about where I'm perfect, and someone went up and said thank you and walked. So now I'm way under. Okay, and just like that, because I had done all those things, and then
so
combined with that, I was so under that that was the year that that Brad Paisley won Entertainer of the Year, and I was way under going into that award for Entertainer of the Year.
Give us a context of time. What
I
does
was
that mean?
about 2 minutes under.
So if the show's supposed to end at 10 Central Time?
I was 9:58.
So they're sitting there going,
I got 2 minutes to fill, and I can't, that's an eternity.
It is, totally.
So I went up to Brad, and it was very, you have to think fast because you're live. And I went up to Brad, and I told him that I looked at him and I said, Brad, I'm way good on time. And he goes, oh, okay. I'm like, no, Brad, look at me.
You could camp out.
I am not. What I wanted to tell him was, if you win Entertainer of the Year, take your time. But I did not want to say those words to him.
Right.
Okay? Because that would mess him up.
Right.
So basically I said, you understand what I'm saying to you. I am way under. And then he was like, oh, yes, I understand. So I was able to not say those words.
Okay, now, I did not want to say
question.
Words. Did you know?
I did not know. But I felt like it was his year. Sometimes within the industry.
So you never know.
I never know.
So even
I only knew one time.
Really? And was that because of a programming kind of
It was
play?
because of an artist could not be there.
Okay.
And even if an artist can't be there, I never know. But that was the year that Keith could not be there.
Mm-hmm.
And I felt like Keith is such an important artist in the history of country music, and has even become since then more important with his All for the Hall. And I just thought he had sent in he could not be there, and he had sent in a letter that he wanted read, and I thought that it was appropriate to honor his request. So I asked, that's the one time I asked the CMA to tell me whether he won the award or not, so that I could prep. Ronnie Dunn at the time was the host, so I could prep Ronnie Dunn
to read it.
To read it, yes. That's the only time, though. People think we know. Sometimes I'll roll the dice and kind of guess. Like, for example, the year that I did a tribute to Loretta Lynn that Sheryl Crow and Miranda Lambert took part of. And I thought, what great television, what great drama it would be is if Miranda won female right after that.
Right.
So I rolled the dice and I put that, and I had Loretta give that award right after that song, and she won. So it worked out great. I mean, it was such great TV.
I'm sure there's certain people sitting in the audience going,
yeah,
Robert, Robert knew that.
No, yeah, I never know. And it would have worked. I mean, look, the thing about it is that I thought, who wouldn't, out of those 5 that are nominated, who wouldn't want to accept the award from Loretta Lynn?
Absolutely.
Okay?
So it made all the sense
So
in the
it
world.
works great. But the fact that Miranda had just performed with her, it made it even better. So I think we got off.
We did.
We did get off. What was the original question?
We were talking about. When did
festival.
When did you
festival,
look
the
at
difference.
the awards show relative to the festival?
Right.
But what you got
Right.
into, I mean, we could sit here for hours and.
Well,
talk about the award show.
festival's taped.
Right.
And the festival is.
Now tell people. A lot of people not going to know what that means.
We actually
tell us the difference
it's not
between
live.
live.
It's
Okay.
not live. You know, award show we're live. The festival we tape the 4 days in June, and it airs sometime in September, August. You know, the difference is vastly. We don't do individual looks like we do on the CMA Awards. We pretty much do one set, and everybody performs within that set. But it's a huge undertaking in that it's 6 acts a night. We have to do all the lighting, all the screen content. We don't see the performance until it's actually, I mean, we rehearse the award show.
Right.
I mean, we know that, and most people don't know, you know, the director on the award show is a guy named Paul Miller, and it's completely scripted. I mean, we've rehearsed it. We know each shot. He knows every shot. He has an assistant director in his ear going, you know, prepping the next shot, telling the cameraman, and then he takes it. Well, the festival, we don't get any rehearsal whatsoever. So when we see it that night, when we see it that Thursday night, first day of taping, that's it. That's the first time we've seen it.
Wow.
So even though we do try to break down the songs so that we know what's happening within the song, we're still just, you know, so it's much looser.
And you're having to react to, oh, look at this fan out here doing something. Let's go to that.
That's correct. And so, and it's important that we, Gary Halverson is my director for that show. Gary is one of the top music directors in the country, but he's also one of the top sitcom directors in the country. He did Friends, Everybody Loves Raymond, 2.5 Men, Roseanne. He was the main director on all of those shows. But he's real good at just kind of like improvising. And now, we ISO all the cameras, and ISO means we're actually running a tape deck to each camera. But we do that just to clean up mistakes and things like that. But we pretty much take what we call a line cut, Gary's line cut, because
Meaning that's what's happening at that moment.
at that time. We try not to mess that up, because when you start over editing it, it feels like it's edited as opposed to being organic and natural from a human being doing it.
So from the point of the CMA, you want the crowd to be felt. For the Music Fest, what you want is almost a live editing.
I do. I like the mistakes too, and we leave a lot of the mistakes in. Instead of don't clean that up.
Right.
If something's out of focus, that's okay, because we want the broadcast audience to forget that it's taped. We want them to feel like it's live. That's why we do all the intros this year. Luke Bryan and Kimberly Perry were our host. So we do intros. If you don't know it, you do think it's live. And that's what we want people to feel.
Well, I've been fortunate enough, you've invited me a couple of times, and I've been in the truck when he's calling it. And
he's amazing, isn't he?
It is.
Yeah.
It's a ballet. It's a dance. It's just the wildest thing I've ever seen before.
Yeah, people come in that truck people have come in the truck, like my wife, when there's been like a disaster, and people clear out pretty quick. So people decide, I don't think I want to be in here.
Sure.
So because sometimes we just don't get it. You know, I mean, like there was one year I remember where we had this song that we wanted on Keith Urban, and we just didn't get it. We didn't get it right. We had never seen it, and that was an unhappy moment, and that cleared the truck out pretty good.
I bet.
And then like this year, for example, I had 2 particular songs that I wanted to do on Faith Hill. So we got done with those songs, and my assistant director, Christine Bradley, always turns to me and says, "Can we stop tape?" In other words, have we got it? And she turns, "Can we stop tape?" And I heard Chris McHugh was playing drums for Faith that night. And the way Chris hit the drum on the snare drum on the opening note, I knew instinctively this is going to be something. And I said, "No, keep going, roll, keep rolling."
So this was not a song you were intending
No,
to tape,
we had
but
not,
you had a feeling about it.
Right, we hadn't broken it down, nothing. Gary's great, our director, because we're so in tune with each other. He knows if I say keep going, there must be a reason. So there was no what are you talking about? What? No, it was like everybody was in, lighting, direct, everybody. So we captured this song which was Faith's first or second single, "Take a Piece of My Heart." And it was fabulous, and it ended up in the television special.
So in that process, you would be much like the coach.
That's correct.
And Gary's going to be the quarterback. And if you're saying, we're going to do this audible, he's got to go and make it work.
He's got to go, exactly.
That's interesting. Is there one that, obviously they both have different things that they take out of you and give back to you. Is one more exciting to you than the other, or do you enjoy one over the other one?
I think just the level of intensity in the awards, once you're done, I think you get a more of a accomplishment.
Right.
Because when the festival's over, there's no feeling of accomplishment yet, because we've now got to go finish it. We've got to do the graphics. We've got to do everything. When we get done with the awards, it's, we're done. It's like there is a more sense of accomplishment. However, there's 2 instances that I'm most proud of than anything that I've ever done. And one's from the award show, one's from the festival.
Interesting.
And that last year, the Glenn Campbell tribute was the favorite thing that I've ever done. Because I felt like that Glenn deserved it. And that's one thing I always try to do in the show, is I always try to do something like that. But, Glenn was going through Alzheimer's and was brave and is battling that. And I had Keith Urban, Vince Gill, and Brad Paisley tribute Glenn Campbell, and we did the songs just like they were originally on the record with a full orchestra. And I was proud of that moment because the CMA support of that, but also the network support. It could have been really easy for the network to go, "Wait a minute, you cannot give 8-9 minutes of network television time to tribute Glenn Campbell in a full orchestra." And they never said a word. They were always supportive of that. Wow. But then for the festival, the thing that I was most proud of of the festival was the year after the flood. And Keith Urban and I decided to do Get By With a Little Help From My Friends, and have that be the opening as a tribute to the victims, and also just the community of Nashville and Franklin and surrounding areas where there were so many heroes, and we were family, and community was first. And we came up with a performance and an application that set the tone and honored everyone in this community. And to me, that was probably one of the most powerful pieces of television that I've ever been involved in. That's cool. And so that was nice to be able to in my own way of what I feel like I do best. What I feel like I do best is my creative and my ideas for television. That I think that God puts me in situations in every show that I do, and puts me in situations, and when I go to LA or I'm in meetings, to be able to witness. And I think that what you have to do, as I do as a person, as a human being, have to remember that. You know, it's something you can easily forget.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, but when there's an opportunity to listen to what God has to tell me, so that I can go, oh, okay, this is what I'm supposed to do right now.
Right.
Okay, and okay, I hear you. I'm supposed to do this. So I'm trying to be aware of those things. And that was an instance where I felt like, okay, this is why I'm doing what I'm supposed to do.
Great. That's
now,
cool.
But now my favorite show, though, is the Christmas show.
Now, why is that?
Because I love Christmas.
Okay.
And I love and it's hard, you know, my wife will tell you I put up 5 trees and I decorate the whole house.
No.
Yeah, and so it gives me the reason of why I can start listening to Christmas music in August and people not think I'm crazy. So
Because you're doing work for your show.
yeah, I'm doing work for the show.
That's
so
funny.
I've been listening to Christmas music now for 3 weeks.
Wow.
So that's my favorite show.
Interesting.
Because that's the most fun and it's the least amount of pressure.
I get it. Well, when we come back, we've been talking about the creative aspect. When we come back, I want to start putting some numbers together since we are here at Lipscomb School of Business. I want to try to talk about this more from a metrics perspective, which is something else that you have to deal with.
Okay.
As you do this. You're with us today on Inside Nashville. Our guest is Robert Deaton, having a great discussion. Please stay with us and we'll be right back.